Good afternoon, sports fans. Okay, you're walking to Bernard. I've been in town charging up the phone and going on the internet. So this wind's blowing really hard, 42 kilometers an hour. And sometimes I'm leaning into it like a parasailing, gliding. So I decided to rest out on this bridge from the year by it. I'm still a fair way from maybe 30 kilometres from my destination. So just rest out on this bridge tonight. I don't believe it's going to rain. There's like a 5 to 7% chance it might rain, then it's only a little bit. So I don't think I'm going to get flooded out. Sometimes you got to take the risk, camp on top and get frozen by the wind, or camp underneath with a small chance that any water's going to flow in. Be out the wind a bit, so I chose to go out the wind a bit. So I'm camped here. Got my little extra covered sleeping bag that I sewed. The truckie left his wool cover on the furniture beside the rubbish bin, so I picked it up, cut it in half, and sewed it down the side of the zipper, so I got extra warm. And yeah, it is extra warm, really extra warm. I got my chocky chip biscuits there. There's no firewood here, and I don't want to risk because people can see down in there. Look, there's the walkway. So I'm just going to add the choc biscuits and eat them slowly so I don't get a sugar rush, hopefully. But yeah, I'm eating them. And fortunately, I stopped in and got some water in the cemetery. I paid honour to the fallen soldiers of Algiers. And it wasn't potable water, but normally when it's not potable water, I give it a little boil. But there's no wood here. I don't want to start a fire, have the fire brigade come out because they see the smoke. So I'm just drinking it anyway. It doesn't look too bad. That's my coffee grounds in there from last time. If I boil it with the coffee in there and let it cool and put it in the plastic, so I got coffee during the day, I put a bit of turmeric in there. I should put some turmeric now, but I couldn't be bothered. I'm in the sleeping bag. Nearly half in there, and I'm going to sleep tonight here. Wake up in the morning and march on into my destination, 30 kilometres. Yeah, I'm going to take the socks off my feet first time in 2 days, maybe rub the crack. I got cracks, deep craters, like Grand Canyons in my heels. I'm going to rub a bit of cream into. I got tiny little bit of antiseptic cream. I'm just going to rub it in the worst ones, the painful. That's what I'm going to do. See my little reflector there? I found on the side of the road. Someone knocked it off the guardrail, so I strapped it on the back of my pack, give it a reflection. I'll turn that in so people can't see in case they're walking along there shining a torch. You might not notice me. That's what I like about the grey of the cover. It's like the grey of the concrete. It's like camouflage because I sleep in these places a lot. So it's not bad. So, as long as I wake up and I see that sun shining tomorrow, well, I should get walking before then, but sometimes I just like laying in here. That's the kind of person I am. I don't like get up. I like laying and contemplating. I like planning. You know what I mean? I got a plan on my NFJ Sigma. So I like planning. You know what I mean? I got to plan everything. So that's how it is. But God provides, God the provider, Yahweh, from the planet Mars, man, from the planet Mars, the Annas from the planet Mars, the Rosannas, the Zemics, the Slavics, man, from the planet Mars. We come here from the planet Mars. When Mars was shut down, you had Mons Olympus going on, and the Ibera come past. We sailed in from there. Yeah. Slavs, man. Novak Djokovic. Yeah. Zemix. Yeah, man. Yeah, we don't give in, man. We don't give in easy. I told him that. I told him, you don't want to take me on because I'm not giving in easy. I'm not letting you off the hook. Murdering bloody animals from hell. And my lawyer is also a Z man, right? He told me they've extended your inheritance money out, so you're not going to get it just yet. I'm owed $250,000, man, and they got me living in this shithole for 6 months and 2 years before that in Australia. living under bridges, dirty bastards from hell. Trying to knock me off, man. I tell you what, there's only 2 years to go before I can start writing stuff about them legally, and they can't put me in jail for it. They gag me back there in Australia. Trying to shut me up, Dad, burning my eyes out with chlorine, and then they actually have a doctor that's got one of these telling me, oh no, it's a birthmark. Fucking crazy assholes. And they're maniacs, man. They're high up in the governments and everything, everywhere, in business and everything. I mean billionaires. So you know what I'm up against, eh? Shot them, man. They're dirty bastards. I'm just waiting. I'm writing a book. Mum didn't suffer like that. I didn't run out to Mum, and she's talking to Dad, and Dad's accused her of being a sex maniac. And mucus is coming down out of her nose and touching the carpet while she's standing on her feet, out of both nostrils. That's shocking that a woman be treated like that. And Mum didn't suffer that, and that father's not getting away with it, right? The family's trying to shut it all up so that no one knows, but bugger that, man. And how I suffered? They wrecked my marriage. They wrecked my marriage to my wife. I've never seen my daughter since she was 5, little tiny thing. Now she's 22. Never seen her. I don't know anything about her. And I paid all my money, manager at Coles Nightfill at Morningside. Over there looking after her, best Christian schools I could put her in, and her cousin and their cousins, and give them all education. No education for me. And never allowed to talk to them. It's horrendous. And then when he gets pregnant, and then we go to Dad's doctor, he gives her a drug. She didn't want to take it. She takes it. Half an hour later, she's miscarriaging. You go to the hospital, emergency, Redland Bay, and they don't even see us for 6 hours. And then she says, I'm too uncomfortable. I've got to go home. She goes home. She goes, I'll just have a shower. In the shower, she miscarriages and shows me our baby in her hand like this. Filthy bastards. And then Dad dies. The police come at 4:30 in the afternoon and give me an order to go to court. I don't even know what it is. I go there at 9 a.m. Immediately, the judge says, because of the seriousness of these allegations against you, you're not allowed to return to 120 metres of your address at Haygrave, Birkdale. You are not allowed to approach or contact your mother or anyone in your family, and all your possessions are given to your brother. On my boat, 14-foot boat, aluminium boat, and 15 horsepower engine, and $6,500 computer, and just everything I ever owned in my life all goes to my brother. That's nuts. He's a maniac. And he's standing there in his pinstripe suit, and I'm there in clothes. I got our Dad's clothes thing because I just have t-shirts and board shorts, you know. I'm not into all that crap. And he's this horrendous, filthy person. I can't wait for this gagging order. It's only got 2 more years to go. So I'm going to pour all the shit on that fucking asshole. And yeah, it's just madness. My family was mad. Me and Mum suffered. I don't even know where my pets are. My rainbow lorikeet that fell out of the tree, and he was this big, just skin. And I thought he had bleeding on his breast when he was just skin. But it was his first feather coming out, and it was a red one. That's how small he was. And I fed him through a straw, and he loved me. I put my pajamas on. He'd crawl down the front and down crawl up my sleeve and down my back. And I was there, boy, you're right there. You're going to get crushed in the night if you sleep there, mate. And he'd sleep under the blankets with me, a funny little fella. And then he'd sleep on his back in his cage. They're the only bird in the world that sleeps on their back. I don't know where he is now. I wasn't allowed to go home to see him or anything. They're assholes. Probably twisted his head and threw him on the ground like they do with their pigeons if they're not good looking enough. And they don't care about nothing, man. They don't care about anyone. Couldn't care less. Dad burnt my eyes with chlorine when I was 4 and threw me in the pool, and then everyone's saying what a hero he was for throwing me in the pool. But I reckon he planned the whole thing. Because he puts the chlorine down beside the pool, I'm there, and then he walks back in the laundry, and I look back, he's there and through the laundry louvers looking at me. And I reckon he was just waiting for me to put chlorine in my eye. Then he rushes out, throws me in the pool, and I'm the big hero. I saved David's sight, but look at my eye. That's burnt from chlorine, man. It's not a birthmark like the doctors are trying to bullshit tell me. Because they don't want the Australian government, the AMA, to pay me money, see? For all this bloody bullshit they're telling about me all the time. Dirty rats. Oh, they're rats, man. They're absolute rats. And Paul Green, yeah, I went to the same school as him, Gumdale State School. I don't know what was going on there. There was always these football people hanging around, and always something to do with the Broncos and the Red Hill Football Club and that Wayne Bennett and Then the coffee shop that was at Gumdale Coffee Shop beside the post office, something to do with that. Police were coming there. Man, that was underage brothel. There were young girls working there, underage girls. My family was dealing in all that shit. Fucking assholes. And I think they're trying to shut me up, you know what I mean? Because I speak the truth. Well, slimy asshole dogs like them hide everything. I even had the vet, right? I took our pet dog to the vet because you couldn't put and it was blowing up like football and mum and dad weren't taking it. So I took it. It cost me $600. And the vet, I phone her up and go, what's going on? And she goes, you're right. Your father is a narcissist. He's just killing everyone. He's killing mum and me with weed killer. And I've got trouble now and I can't get medical help because no one believes me. And I say dad was trying to kill mum and I with weed killer. They put me in the psychiatric ward even here in France. And I said, I don't want your drug. I'm not taking it. So they all picked me up, like 10 of them, stripped my clothes off and inject me in the bum. And then put me in an isolation ward, which is a square bloody stainless steel box for a day. Bloody assholes, man. Can't believe it. So I've learned my lessons with doctors. Shh, don't mention weed killer, man, because they just think you're nuts. But I could smell it in the hot water. Dad got security that you could push out the screen. I wonder why he got that, because we had bars, right? And I said, don't take the bars off. They're better than that stupid screen. And so I didn't let him in my room. But I reckon so he could push out, go in the hot water system, put the weed killer in the hot water system and get back in his room again. And sometimes Mum would go to the room and go, Trevor, where are you? What are you doing out there? And I reckon that's what he was doing. Because it was only in the hot water. And any time I made soup, and Dad knew I'd be using the hot water for it, he wouldn't eat it. Not Mum or him. And he wouldn't eat any of the food I cooked. So, weed killer in there. Right? Dirty rat. And then I go and tell Mum. And Mum's got the hot water pot in the morning. And she's going to tip it in the sink. I said, what are you tipping that out? Oh, because it really stinks in the morning. And I grabbed her hand and smelled it. Weed killer. Dad took the weed killer out of the hot water because I told him. And was putting it in Mum's kettle, so Mum was drinking it in the morning because he wanted us all to die with him because he knew he had a brain tumour from the weed killer himself. Richard Rolls, the Olympic boxer, I think he's 7 times Oceanic champion, right? Went to the Atlanta Olympics in 1998, 1996 I think it was, right? He got a cancer in the throat because Dad would have been putting weed killer in his tea. Because Dad would be scared of him, 5'11", champion boxer. Dad would have been scared, and he's a black man. Dad didn't like black men, right? Dad always talked through Mum. Mum wouldn't have thought this. Mum liked coloured people. Mum's favourite movie was To Sir with Love and Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Mum's favourite actor was Sidney Poitier, right? So how does she hate black people? But she said to me, we're glad your baby died, because I didn't want my grandchildren to be looking back at me with those dark eyes. But I don't reckon that was Mum. I reckon that was Dad, because it was hypnotising her. Because I'd see Dad sitting on the lounge beside Mum, chanting to her, and Mum would be there like this. I reckon Dad was just chanting so much he changed her thoughts to what he wanted to think. He was a maniac, that guy. He was an absolute maniac. Because when I was 9, we changed houses down in Gumdale, I'd go into his cupboard and he'd have jars of mercury and then jars of that uranium paint they'd paint the instruments with that was radioactive. And it'd say on the jar, radioactive paint, do not touch or anything. Dad would have jars of it. I reckon he was putting that in people's food and drink then, and the mercury. Because I'd put the mercury in and play with it, because it'd roll like balls, but it was liquid. And I'd even take it to school and they'd be, where did you get this? And they're playing with it and the mercury paint. And then when they banned all that, I reckon Dad changed to weed killer because he couldn't get that anymore. It was bad. And he was giving people weed killer like Richard Rolls. Richard gets cancer in his throat. Dad was a maniac. And then I'm talking to all the Mum's relations. I mean, what did Uncle Kevin die of? Brain tumour. What did Robert Sperling die of? Brain tumour. And they were coming around our house, and Robert Sperling was a big guy, big, tough, trucky guy, you know what I mean? But on Mum's side of the family, a lot of Mum's side of the family are big people. There's people on Mum's side of the family who duck their heads, so they don't hit their heads on the frame, like Colin, right? And I tell you, Dad was taking him out with weed killer because he's scared of him. Dad was a maniac. And then his parents die. His father dies on the 11th of the 11th, and then his mother dies on the 11th of the 11th. And then 9 months later, I'm born. And I think Dad had this bizarre idea that I'd be female, and I'd be Susanna Jones, a reincarnation of his mother. This is what I think he was thinking. I reckon he knocked his parents off with his bloody Mercury and that. Because he was knocking our dogs off, our pet dogs, they died on Mum's birthday. And Mum would be there, oh, why do the dogs always die on my birthday? And she'd be crying, it makes me sad on my birthday. Dad was planning it that way, the dirty bastard, with his weed killer. Poor old Coco, she died on Mum's birthday, 9th of June. And so did Shelley, the dog before. He's a nutcase. And I couldn't tell anyone because they had me, I'm crazy. So I couldn't risk it. I could go on the mental ward. They're just assholes, man. That guy's an asshole. Narcissistic asshole from hell. Covert narcissist from hell. What an asshole. And I had to live through that. I'm still living through it. Look. Now I'm nearly been 3 years homeless because of them bastards from hell. I had I spent $25,000 on music equipment, music programs and computers. I had a $6,500 laptop in my backpack over here in France. I had $5,000 hearing aids. I was set to produce some music. The very first time I produced some music, on the 8th of August, on the 9th of August, my birthday, they stole my whole luggage case off the train. Bang, where's it gone? And every time I think back, when I start doing the music, bang, they take my computer. Even back home, I start doing the music, bang, they do that court thing with me, whatever it was, protection violence order against my own mother. Then I ring Mum up and say, what's this protection violence order? 9 months later, and I'm always believing, Mum didn't want me in the house, so that's okay with me. I'll live out here if that's what Mum wants. I don't mind. That's what Mum wants. I ring up at Mum. I said, why do you do that? She goes, do what? Do that protection violence order. What protection violence order? She said. I said, you signed it. She said, I didn't sign anything. And I said, well, what did they tell you when I wasn't at home? She said, they told me you were so upset when Dad died, you ran away and never come back. What a load of lies. And I said, what, you never went to court? Mum said, no. So then I'm saying to my lawyer, show me where the court footage is of Mum going into court. And then this whole protection violence order can be washed away and they can go to jail for 10 years for falsifying their protection violence order. They're animals. They're just a bunch of animals, my siblings. I hate their guts. The whole family, I can't stand them, They're just animals from hell. That's all they are. I fear the poor person that gets involved with them. Because that's all they are. I mean, where's Boybird? I love that little budgie. Where is he? I'd shut the blind and he'd go, good night, boy. Night, little budgie. Good night, little fella. And then he'd get up in his little, made him like a house out of a bucket, green bucket, with the little windows in and a little door, and a little ladder up there. And he'd get in there and put his both feet on the T-shirt. That was his blanket. And then he'd roll on his back. And it'd be over here like this, and his head would be up like a human. It was amazing. And then I'd turn the light on and he'd go, good night, pretty little boy. And he'd say it so well. Every night he'd do the same thing. It's just lovely. And where's he? I don't know. Is he dead? Is he alive? I don't know. Dirty bastards. I hate them. I can't wait till the truth comes out and it's all proven, because they'll see. I went to get my private pilot license. It took me 2 months, 3 weeks and 4 days. It's a record at the school. No one ever done it that quick before. Somehow I'm this crazy maniac. Bullshit. I hate them. They'll pay, man. They'll pay. They murdered my child. They're going to pay. They murdered Mum. Because after I said that to Mum, I bought a plane ticket straight back to Brisbane. I say, I can prove this now. Mum went to hospital that very next day. So I'm trying to find... I asked the niece to come out to Mum's house, because I was at Mum's house right that next day. She wouldn't tell me what hospital Mum was in, the dirty rat. And she cried, boo. Probably, and I picked on that, but they're going to kill Mum. 6 days later, Mum's dead. Dead people don't talk, man. We don't go to jail because she's dead. They're animals. They are filthy, rotten animals, and I hope they rot in jail. That's what they deserve. And I hope the Australian government, I hope, The Australian government pays me $25 million in compensation for false bloody Australian medical bloody things against me. I'm no crazy person. I've been dealing with this all my life. Damages and to me and the money it's cost me just staying alive. Like hotel bills and that, when they kicked me out of house. In the first 3 months, it cost me like $40,000. I hate them. They owe me $25 million as far as I'm concerned. Dirty rats from hell. I just want to live my life. You know, I come over here to get away from them, not to complain about them or anything, not to say one more word about them. And they steal all my luggage, turf me out, do the same thing to me here in France as Australia. Rotten buggers from hell. I hate their guts. And I hope they rot in hell. And they don't believe in God. People that think they believe in God are numbskulls, man. They do not believe in God. They think people that believe in God are crazy and stupid. Because this is what they say. Where is your God? When is your God ever appeared to you? There is no God. Right? Me, I'm the other way. I'm like Rosanna Zemeck and Mum. I believe in God. You know, I'm crossing myself. And I'm praying to God. I'm giving thanks. I asked God for €1 and there it is in the ground straight away. I asked God for scissors to cut my beard. There they are on the ground straight away. And look, I cut my beard. But not completely, because God says do not trim your beard. Right? So I give it a little cut with the scissors. God provided them, so God must want me to do it. So just keep it neat and tidy so it's not in my mouth when I eat. I follow the laws. I wash my hands clean. Right? I have very dirty hands. I wash them clean, eat my chocolate biscuits. I give thanks to God. Thank you for this manna from heaven. Thank you for this water from the wells of Miriam. Not like Moses and Aaron, right? Forgot to thank God and they claimed it for themselves and then they were banned from entering the land of milk and honey. For that reason? No. Right? I'm not saying I'm anything special. I'm just saying, look, I learned from their lessons and so I give praise and thanks to God. You know, thank you for this. Now, not by my will, but your will. I thank you for leading me on the path straight and narrow. Right? In the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost. Right? I believe in Allah. I believe that it's not quite the one God. I'm not. It could be the one God, but I very much believe in the Anunnaki of the Sumerians, right? And I'm believing that I'm one of the ones from Mars. You know what I mean? And I believe that sort of like Z people are from Mars, and we're just a little bit different. Same, but a little bit different because we come from Mars. When Nibiru come close to Mars, we fled here when the atmosphere was stripped and you had Mons Olympus. This is going back, 100,000 years. And that's how I believe. But, the gods are the gods. And my God's the Anna God. Right? And, family, Rosanna, Anna, May, the names for the females are always Rose, Rosanna, right? So I'm believing these things, right? And I like the Slavs. I like how they think Novak Djokovic's and that. And then I have a look at his coaches. They all look like mum's side of the family. And I believe like him, We believe, man. We don't say we're going to do this and go do something else. We say we're going to do this, and that's what we do. I say I'm going to do this. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to say I'm going to do this and go and do something else. Because you're hearing from my mouth what I'm going to do. I'm hearing the truth. So I love it when the Australian government said you have to do this or you can't play tennis. He says, well, bugger that, I'm not playing tennis, man. Take the titles off me, I don't care. I'm not playing tennis. I believe in this and I'm going back to Serbia. Yeah, I love that. I love that attitude like that. Because that's true. Anyway, we'll be out of time. So I've gagged enough. I'm going to sleep here tonight. Out of the window a little bit. Out of the cold. And I'm getting up for 30 kilometres tomorrow, if I can. 5 divided by 30 is 6 hours walk. That's not far. Oh, this big heavy backpack, but I'm going to try to light him up a bit. But good people here in France, they give me €6. I buy potatoes, chocolate biscuits, the noodles, pasta, and flour. So I'm good. I'm good to cook bread, pasta, And then I raid the bins. I got some chicken in there I found in someone. Threw out nice roast chicken. It's still good. And it's so cold here, it's like you got it in a fridge anyway. So I'm going to boil him up tomorrow and make a sauce out of the flour. And I got curry powder and salt. So I'm going to do him up nice, sterilise him up. And I even picked the orange rinds people throw away. And boil it, cut them into strips and boil them up too for vitamin C. Even though it wrecks the vitamin C a bit, but still I do that. Alright, sports fans, I'm nearly out of time. So I love yous. I'm going to bed up tonight. Try to stay as warm as I can. I found some nice clothes in the garbage bin. And I love yous. And I always will. And I love this life anyway. I love doing this anyway. You know, testing myself, staying alive, surviving on €1 a day. 6 months now I've been surviving in France on €1 a day. It's under €1 easy, but I'm doing it. So I love yous and I thank yous. And remember, I always could. And we always could, because I'm always in the wood. I love yous. Au revoir.